a huge victory coming in one of the big swing states that swung away from the Democrats, and got a lot more to cover too. And of course, Friday is always open phones, meaning any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show as well. And you're all welcome to call in with anything and everything on your mind, but I got a bunch of stories I'm going to be leading with today. Starting with this battleground state turning into a Trump state.
The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
It sure is. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. That's right. We're celebrating 47 years, and President Trump will be reelected as the 47th president. So pretty exciting year for us. Welcome, everyone. We got a lot to cover. And, you know, the Democrats are just getting creamed. You know, James Carville, the other day we were talking, was in a panic that the Democrat Party, he used the words in droves, that young people in general and as well as non-white young people are leaving the Democrat Party, and for all kinds of reasons. The Democrats are in big, big trouble. And, you know, in these presidential elections, they're pretty much, almost every state is already decided, right? Because you know which states are red and blue. And although shouldn't the Democrats be red since they're the communists? Why do we get the red? I don't know how that started. But we got the red, even though they're the Reds. But there are battleground states. Battleground states are sometimes called battleground states. They're sometimes called swing states. And they're also called toss-up states. And what these are states that can go either way during an election. But they lean a certain direction when you get closer to the election. So the states that people watch are the battleground swing state polls, right? And President Trump has been leading in all but one of them. And there's a major new poll out. I don't think that's going to get much publicity because the mainstream media don't want you to know how well Trump is doing. But a big swing state that's been going towards the Democrats is now way in Trump's favor, and we haven't even had the convention yet. He's the presumed nominee, but we haven't even had the convention yet. It's a big data poll. I did tweet this. And by the way, all my show prep is on my Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter, you can get all the stories I talk about and even the ones I don't get to. Brian Craig Show on Twitter. But the newest poll, it's out of Pennsylvania. President Trump has a lead that is over 5 points ahead of Biden. Trump is at 45.7 and Biden is at 40.3. So we have a 5.4% lead in Pennsylvania for Trump right now. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I did see some breakdowns that when they put in these third-party people, Trump even performs better. All right? So this is just a spectacular thing, and we're seeing the trend. The only problem we can run into, and I remind you of this all the time because it's so important, the only trouble we can run into is overconfidence, which can reduce turnout. You don't want to do that. This is the last time, unless you haven't had your primary yet, but this November is the last time that you're going to be able to vote for President Trump. So, you know, don't get overconfident. You've got to get out and vote and get everybody you know out to vote. Do not get overconfident. That's the only thing we have going against us. You know, the country is on Trump's side. I mean, look at Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake had a big fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago this week, and being reported, she broke a fundraising record. How popular Carrie Lake is spectacular. I like her to be our second MAGA president myself. I like Carrie Lake. And, you know, it's not going to be easy for her to win this state, so after what they did with cinema. But she still had a record fundraising haul. And these big money donors, and the RNC, since the Trump family took over the RNC, are having huge fundraising milestones met. And these rich donors, the uber rich, I mean, these are the super, super rich people, all right? They don't throw money away on losers. So they're donating boatloads of money to the Trump-controlled RNC, Kerry Lake, and others because they view Trump and the MAGA people as the winners. So every sign is in our favor. But Pennsylvania, which is a swing state, becoming MAGA red or Trump red, that's huge. That's huge. And, part of the problem the Democrats are running into is they have to fight for areas and places that they that they could take for granted. And they have to fight for Pennsylvania. They're going to have to work hard in New York. Even in House races in blue states like California, they're going to have to work harder on some of these. A lot of things that they take for granted, they've got to fight for, which means their resources are spread thin, which is a good thing. Now, before we get into our first break in the news and everything else, one of the South Florida radio legends has died, and this guy was a great guy. I did not know him well, but I did know him, and I'm talking about young Ron Brewer from Paul and Young Ron. Paul Castronova. Young Ron Brewer has died, and even though he had gray hair pretty much the entire time I knew him, he was still going by Young Ron. And he is a South Florida, or he was, a radio legend. He'd been on the air for over 40 years. And he retired, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it's really sad. Paul Castronova posted on X. He said, I just found out my buddy Ron Brewer died. I'm heartbroken. I'm crushed. Rest in peace, old man. Yep. And this news just came out yesterday. And young Ron Brewer wasn't all that young. He was in his late 60s. But the late 60s, as you get older, the late 60s are not as old as they used to sound when I was younger. And that is too young to go. And he was a nice guy, because I remember when Steve and I were on iHeart in Miami, I used to come in every morning into we were in a big radio facility that had, I don't know how many radio stations in it. And, I mean, all these guys I grew up with, listening to in high school, were working in the building. And I used to come to work at the same time as Paul Castronova and young Ron Brewer, and I used to run into them in the lobby. And it was so bizarre because they had such strict security, even though we were there every day, and everybody knew us, especially them, because they were super big. They were on Zeta, remember, and then Big 106. And they still made us show ID when we walked into the building. I remember Castronova and young Ron Brewer and me, we'd always go in and we'd show our ID together to the security guard every day. And he was a nice guy. And all these radio legends that I used to listen to in high school and middle school have died. Young Ron Brewer, Sonny Fox, Neil Rogers, all these guys, they're gone. But he was a good guy, young Ron Brewer. And I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true, because a lot of people I've worked with at radio stations have been nasty people. And when they're nasty, I tell you, okay, if their names come up. That's why I always reference Joyce, because she was always so nasty to me. But there's others too. But not young Ron Brewer. He was a great guy, and a sad loss. But I know some of you probably listened to young Ron and Paul back in those days. All right, we'll take our first break and jump right back into the news and the issues. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Oh, man. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys.
Huge victory. Coming one of the big swing states. Subscribe, guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
It's one of those days. Just can't quite wake up.
Oh, man. It's one of those days. Just can't quite wake up.
You got 3 Trump items coming? Cool. "2016, it's been that long since Ron Brewer retired? Oh my goodness."
Did he or didn't he?
I know. All the guys I grew up listening to are dying off. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Suds. From Rick and Suds died. There's so many of them. Well, I was wondering if his retirement had something to do with him being sick. Did he, have cancer or something? Because I thought the retirement was a little out of the blue. You know, like Johnny Carson retired because he knew he was dying. Well, Rush we talk about all the time. But I didn't listen to Rush in high school. These were guys I listened to when I was in high school and middle school, because that made me get into radio. I didn't listen to Rush until after that. Because Rush wasn't syndicated when I was in high school and middle school. At least not down here.
Anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right. Welcome, one and all. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. You know, it's Friday, which means it's open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, we hand the show over to you, right? Remember Rush used to say that? On Fridays, we hand the show over to rank amateurs. And you can bring up any and everything on your mind. You are not limited to the topics and stories that we bring up on the program. All right? So it is open phones. 1-888-465-2631. Although I got a lot of stories to cover today, and hopefully you find them interesting. 1-888-465-2631. I'll take some of these calls before I bring up anything new. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Peter calling from Loudoun County. I'm sorry I'm driving. I got the car beeping.
That's okay, Peter. Just put the seatbelt on and it'll stop.
Yeah. We all live safe in this world, right?
Mm.
So we're going to be subjected to an exercise today. And Loudoun County Sheriff's Department from about 7 a.m. to 12 noon, where they're going to simulate a school shooter.
Yeah. Well, we're not. I don't know about that, and we're not going to talk about something like that. The phones are open, but you can't talk about stupid stuff. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't even know if that's true. And involving something like that, open phones don't mean you can call in and start talking about weird. Which I don't even know where that was going. I don't even know where Loudoun County is. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Your favorite rank amateur.
Oh.
Listen, I've been waiting for Friday to come because there's a few things that I gotta say.
Oh, here we go, guys. Oh boy. Okay.
I'm kind of all mixed up here. First of all, this guy that's our governor, he goes and he has this homeless law, which will affect the whole United States. I mean, where he's telling every city and every county that you got to do something with the homeless, or you're going to be in trouble with the state of Florida. Meanwhile, you're getting a lot of resistance, I think, out of Palm Beach, and it's a big chaos in this country.
Well, I don't know about this. What's DeSantis doing with the homeless?
There's a law October 1st that you are not going to be able to. The state of Florida signed into a bill. All the cities and states, you are breaking the law, and there will be consequences if you have homeless sleeping on streets and then on benches. And
I love that because in the winter months, those of you that are not Floridians, the homeless come to Florida with the birds over the winter, and we have a huge increase in homeless because these bums and loafers, they like the warm weather better than the freezing weather of New York. So I like that. DeSantis is doing a lot of good stuff.
The Democrats are in major resistance to this, and all these do-gooders. They're already starting trouble. Now, the other thing is, I find out in the middle of the week that 90% of the flights from all these countries that Biden is duping with these illegals past the border, 90% are going to Texas and Florida, which I didn't know, which bothers me. Then it comes up with the other thing that's come up with is with this abortion deal and the marijuana smoking. First of all, I think it's a big problem because it's not just the quality of life in Florida with the marijuana smoking. Because I understand in New York you can't walk around the street without smelling this stuff. I used to smell in Vietnam quite a bit. But the thing is this, the abortion issue. Okay, and I know you're 100% against abortion. Let's just call it killing babies, okay? Mm. But Florida is so strict with the 6 weeks. And DeSantis is, I just don't, why he insists 6 weeks. He's not even, President Trump is not 6 weeks. President Trump, I think, is going to come out with his own book, but it's going to affect Floridians because there are a lot of, we haven't messaged this properly at all. And 6 weeks is not right because, hey, look, some women don't know in 6 weeks that they are even pregnant.
Is it 6? Is it 6 or 10?
No, it's 6 weeks of Florida.
Yeah, listen, listen. DeSantis is a snake, all right? And there's two things on the ballot here in Florida in November that just piss me off, and it's a total scheme to screw Trump. One is abortion, and the second one is yes or no to legalize recreational marijuana. And the Democrats have a long history of putting drug legalization and other liberal things like abortion on ballots in different states to try to turn out liberal voters. And DeSantis, he gave a mild, these things will fail. What they'll do is, Trump's still going to win Florida, okay, with both of these issues on the ballot. But what will happen is it's going to cost his House seats and also some local elections. It's going to cost his House seats in parts of Florida because, Mar-a-Lago here in Palm Beach County this is a Democrat area, Democrat district. You get abortion and legalized marijuana on the ballot, liberal communities are going to elect more Democrats. And DeSantis, he's part of the Uniparty still. And he should call this out for what it is, a plot to work so Trump has fewer people in the House.
The thing is here, I hope I'm wrong. You just said Trump's going to win anyway. Don't be so sure.
Florida?
Don't be so sure with these college kids coming out that would have never voted.
See, the college kids, if you come to Florida, okay, to go to college, if you're in Florida and you're a college student, you're leaning MAGA anyway. But if you are an out-of-stater and you come to Florida to go to college, you first off, you got to vote where you're from, not where you go to college. If you vote in Florida and your residence is back with mommy and daddy, you're breaking the law. But if you've made a decision to travel to Florida to go to college, you also lean conservative for the most part. Not always, but mostly. Liberal kids aren't going to come to Florida. I think the only people that care about abortion are lesbians and old blue-haired ladies. I think that's an issue that's not a big issue anymore.
But they've made it it's going to become a huge issue towards the election because
the media are going to try to make you think it's a big issue. But see, what happened is, when I guess it's been 20 years since they came out with the abortion pill, surgical abortions, which is really what they're talking about, are disgusting to most women of childbearing years, I believe, because they've got those pills. And regardless of what the restrictions are, they can still get those pills online and everything else. So, and
I get what you're coming from, but we're informed.
And
you're really informed, and I'm informed. But there are a lot of people out there that are not informed. And when they hear this every day thrown at them, oh, he's gonna make you go abortion. This is gonna be a bad because we have.
No, listen, I don't think we should be talking about, I'm not talking about this conversation. I'm talking about for the election, okay? We don't want to be talking about, abortion is settled. The Republican Party platform has always been to overturn Roe v. Wade. President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, and that does leave it up to the states. That's no doubt about it, but it's not an issue we should be talking about. And I am 100% pro-life. I mentioned this, I'm even against the death penalty, all right? I'm 100% pro-life, but it's not the time to be fighting that fight because it can hurt us in the election. Absolutely.
I don't believe that why he did this. DeSantis is a backstabber. We agree on this. So I hope you have a nice weekend.
Yeah. But Richie, you got see. This is. I just say this before you go, okay? With the young people, when they talk about abortion, they don't mean the pills. They mean like the surgical abortions. For people that are of childbearing years, like women that are of the age where they would get pregnant for an abortion, they're not into that. I was listening to one of the news channels yesterday. I can't remember which it was, if it was Fox or CNN, one of them. And they said that the majority of women that are getting abortions are in their 30s. And let me finish with that. And the women that are in their 30s and getting abortions are women who are skanks that are cheating on their husbands, and they got pregnant by some guy they met on Tinder, so they go and have an abortion. The younger girls that are in their 20s and younger, that to them, these abortions are like VHS tapes or cassette tapes.
But the Democrats you're right, but the Democrats have gotten the women to say, a lot of young women, that they've divided the male and female. And a lot of women say, no man is going to tell me what to do with my body.
Well, you know what I always say, really, can you inject your body with heroin or crack? I mean, or.
We're illogical, but this is what they're going to try to do, divide us. That's what they do.
Can you use your body for prostitution legally? No, there's all kinds of reasons. All right, Rich, appreciate the call. We'll take our break for the bottom and be back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning.
No, there's. Let me hold on. Yeah, hold on. I got to read what this. I'm going to go through this abortion thing just for a few minutes, just to clarify and I agree, JP. I agree. Coming back.
2326.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years.
All right, we're back. 35 minutes after. Before I get into the new news, because there's some new stuff, I just want to comment on this scheme that they're running, okay? The Uniparty is running a scheme, and it's abortion and now legalizing recreational marijuana in Florida. And I'm here to tell you, chances of either of those passing in Florida is unknown, no doubt about it. But Trump will win Florida, no doubt about it. But I want to just talk about the abortion restriction, okay? Just for a minute, because this is not the time to be dealing with these issues. The future of our civilization is in the balance, okay? But, I don't believe with young women, or even the young guys, abortion's a big issue. First off, half of them are gay now, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. There are so many gay young people today. So you got about a third to a half of the population that aren't even having reproductive sex. Okay? I tell you, it's So that takes a whole, and so the ones that are gay or gender whatever, they're liberal anyway. So out of the young people that are straight, okay, so you've got half, maybe 2/3 at the most of young people, they're always talking about the young vote, that are straight, right? Of that half to 2/3 of them, and I'm talking about Florida, how many of them are conservative? More than half, because this is Florida, all right? So it's not the issue that people think it is. Now, the media are going to push it because the Karl Rove and all these people that control Fox News are pushing that agenda. But it's not an issue with young people. Also, Plan B, is that the morning after pill? Hey, listen, they didn't have, I'm married. I've been married 27 years, so, I don't worry about such things. But that morning after pill, which is not the abortion pill, it's the one to take the day after, you may think you're pregnant. The skanky girls that are running around having all that kind of risky sex, they got those pills already. And by the way, the 6-week abortion ban, which goes into effect in May 1st here in Florida, doesn't affect that morning after pill. You can still go to your drugstore, you can still go to your Walgreens and get your morning after pills, girls, okay? And I think they know that. I just don't think it's an issue. It's one that they're making a big deal out of. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
I'm not talking about the topic, but just out of curiosity, did you do a podcast later in the day yesterday?
I did not do a podcast yesterday. Why?
I use a flip phone, and sometimes it doesn't work right. But yesterday morning, I couldn't get on the radio show till 13 minutes after.
Oh, the YouTube. Well, I was having problems with my YouTube connection yesterday morning. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. I appreciate. This is the danger of open phones, because people call in with things that no one's interested in, like their phone problems and things like that. Now, there's another story though that they're out there trying to slam Trump with. And this one really, as all the rest, just complete lies and complete fabrications, and they're always trying to slam Trump with something. And this is about whether or not he called the family of Ruby Garcia. Now, Ruby Garcia was killed by her boyfriend, who was an illegal, all right? Now, an illegal who had been deported to Mexico. He's been back a bunch of times, murdered her, Ruby Garcia. And Trump said he called her family the other day. I think it was in Michigan. He said he called the family. And you see these stories plastered everywhere that the family says that he didn't call. Well, I call BS on that. And I saw this story all day yesterday. They say the family said. Let me share this with you. Let me share this story with you. This is Inside Edition. And I'll tell you why I call BS on it as we go through this.
President Trump announced he had personally spoken to the family of a 25-year-old woman allegedly killed by an undocumented migrant. But the victim's family says the call never happened.
The family of a young woman who cops say was murdered by an undocumented migrant is blasting Donald Trump today for claiming he spoke to them.
She was a beautiful, beautiful young woman.
At a campaign event in Michigan, Trump used the death of Ruby Garcia to highlight his top campaign issue, border security.
They said she had just this most contagious laughter, and when she walked into a room, she lit up that room. And I've heard that from so many people. I spoke to some of her family.
But Ruby Garcia's sister says no one in her family has spoken to Trump or anyone from his campaign.
He did not speak with any of us, so it was kind of shocking seeing that he had said that he had spoke with us.
Ruby Garcia was shot to death 2 weeks ago in Grand Rapids.
Okay. So now, that's the sister. Now, let me go back to the sister. Let me rewind back to the sister.
He did not speak with any of us, so it was kind of shocking seeing that he had said that he had spoke with us.
Ruby.
Okay. I call total BS on this. And I call her a liar, the sister. And I'll tell you why. First of all, her sister is brutally murdered 2 weeks ago. She's pissed off at Trump? Not this monster, this animal that murdered her sister? That doesn't even make sense. Have you ever lost someone in your family that's died under a shocking example like this? I haven't had someone murdered in my family, thank the Lord above, but I have had people die in my immediate family by tragic accidents, and people I've known, and I've known, and I know you guys have too. That's not the kind of thing you're pissed off about. She's not even broken up, the sister, when you hear her. Her sister was brutally murdered 2 weeks ago. Her young sister. She's like in her 20s. And she's mad at Trump, not the animal that killed her sister. And in that one clip, they didn't interview the whole family. They interviewed this one sister who's angry at Trump, not the murderer of her sister, 2 weeks after the murder. That doesn't, And when she's talking, now I'm not a body language expert like they have on TV all the time, but I do have a BS meter from talking to liberal jerks on the radio all these years. When she's talking, and she's telling the story about Trump not calling her family, she does something. It's a close-up of her face. This video is all over the place. So you guys... I did tweet this story that from Inside Edition that I'm sharing, so you can go to my Twitter and get that. But you can see the interview with the girl anywhere. When the sister, who's not broken up or angry at the murderer of her sister that was murdered brutally 2 weeks ago, all right, when she tells the story that Trump didn't call, she does something that is a big tell of a liar. Her eyes go to the right. Her eyes go to the right. And every body language expert I've ever seen on television, when they're doing their body language exams and they're giving their professional analysis as to whether the person is lying or not, they said when a person's eyes go to the right, that is a reaction of searching, of the mind searching for a lie to fill in that spot. So the fact that her eyes are going to the right when she's talking about Trump not calling, and she's angry at Trump, not the murderer of her sister, I call total BS on this story. So let me go back.
Trump or anyone from his campaign.
He did not speak with any of us, so it was kind of shocking seeing that he had said that he had spoke with us.
Ruby Garcia was shot to death 2 weeks ago in Grand Rapids, allegedly by her boyfriend. Her slaying has not received the same national attention as the murder of nursing student Laken Riley.
See, here they are with the race card. They're trying to imply because Laken was white and this girl was not. No.
Beaten to death, allegedly by a migrant from Venezuela. Laken's family has confirmed they met with Trump, but Ruby Garcia's family says Trump never reached out to them. We asked the Trump campaign for a comment, but they declined to respond.
Okay, they talked to one girl who's not broken up that her sister was shot dead 2 weeks ago by this illegal monster. She's mad at Trump. She's not even emotional. You know, this was a young girl in her 20s that was murdered. That's the worst when it's someone young. When someone young is murdered like that or dies in a tragic accident and they're young like that, the families I know that have experienced that, and when I've had that in my family, no one's out there talking politics. They can't talk about anything. They're so upset. But not her. And this looking to the right with the eyes, she's a liar. She's a liar. And just because Trump didn't call her, how many people are in the family? We'll take our last break of the first hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Have any of you seen this Apple River trial story in the news? The stabbing trial, the Apple River trial. Have any of you heard of that? Yeah, I saw the video they released of when it happened. I would have quit that guy if I was on the jury. After seeing that video, I would have quit that guy. What they're trying to do, the media, is try to get Trump to start trashing the family of a dead girl. And it's the right thing to do for them not to comment. All right, and guys, don't forget, get your MyPillow mattress topper. The lowest prices ever on all the MyPillow mattress toppers, as much as 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and free shipping because it's free shipping on MyPillow.com on all orders that are $75 or more. So that would cover the MyPillow mattress toppers. I've been sleeping on the MyPillow mattress topper for years now. It will change the way you sleep. If you have a lumpy, bumpy mattress, if your mattress is lopsided, if you think you need a new mattress, get yourself a MyPillow mattress topper. 50% off and free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. They come in every mattress size. I have one on my bed, my guest bed, my daughter's guest bed in California, even got her one for her own bed in California. They're that good. And it will change your life. So go to MyPillow.com, order your MyPillow mattress topper, 50% off and free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right. Before I get back into the political news, there's a criminal trial that's in the news, but I don't know how many people are familiar with it. The Apple River case. This guy, he's on trial for murder. He stabbed 5 guys, young guys, killing one of them. And there was video of the incident before the stabbing and during it. And this guy, I don't know, he's my age, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older, I don't know. He's around about my age. He's with his family, and they're out in this hangout in this river, the Apple River. And he and his family are having a good time. And a group of young punks, late teens, surround this guy in the river. Now, it's a river where you stand up in. You can stand up and everything. And they surround and harass this guy like I've never seen. Now, it's not in the news because everyone's white. Things are only in the news if black people get killed by white people. Then it's in the news and the media make it a racial issue. But this guy's on trial for murder, and I imagine a whole bunch of charges for the other 4 that he stabbed. And they released the video before, during, and after the incident. So this guy is out there with his wife in the river, just having a good time. He gets surrounded by these teenage punks who just start calling him names, harassing him, getting in his face, getting in his personal space. I've never seen anything like it. It's a mob. And they push him down in the water and hit him in the face and in the head. Slap him in the face, slap him in the head. Well, the guy had a knife. I don't know why he had a knife, but he had a knife. Sometimes I have a knife. I got a very nice knife I carry around sometimes. I carry it around for a couple reasons. I started carrying it when those guys tried to rob me on my MAGA scooter, and I had nothing but my key. But he stabbed 5 of them and killed one of them. And I'm watching this trial. It's on Law and Crime. It's not in the news because there's not a racial component. The media only care about trials where they can divide white and black people against one another. But for those of you that have followed that, the Apple River trial, if I were on that jury, I would acquit that guy. The best they would get, the prosecution's a hung jury. I feel bad that the kid's dead, but when you watch this video, if any of you have seen this, I'd certainly like to hear from you, because the guy was scared. He should have been scared. This mob of teens, and these are big guys. These aren't like little kids. These are like full grown. They're not barren height, but they're pretty tall, and I don't know how old they were, but they were older teens. And I've never seen a group of teens surround a guy like that and do what it is they did. And I can't believe the guy's even on trial, tell you the truth. It's the Apple River murder trial, if you've seen it. I can't believe the prosecutors even brought charges against this guy, especially when you've got the video leading up to the incident that shows how they were harassing him, surrounding him, threw him down in the water. You throw someone down in a river, there's rocks and stuff in there, you could kill someone. Then they start slapping him and hitting him in the face and head. Total self-defense case, 100%. And they're going after this guy for first-degree murder. They've made it a crime to defend yourself. Now, I don't know where the jury's going to land on that. he might be okay because there's not a racial component to it. But if there was, it'd be hopeless. But if you followed that case, I'd go not guilty in that. I wouldn't even have to think. As soon as I saw that video, I'd not heard of the case until yesterday, and I saw a story that the Apple River murder video was released. So I was like, oh, okay, a little clickbaity. So I watched it, and I'm like, why is this guy even on trial? You can't defend yourself anymore. You just have to take a beating or take a killing. You're not allowed to defend yourself in this country anymore. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, good morning. Eddie Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so in regards to what video that you're talking about, there's two things I think that might not be good for the older gentleman there. In the video, it happens so quickly. I mean, you got to be really quick and be quick on the pause button. But just prior to him being pushed into the water and slapped, it shows him with the knife in hand already.
Yeah, I saw that. He's like, get away from me, get away from me.
Right, absolutely. But, people, how people are. They'll take it two different ways. They're like, oh, he already had the knife in his hand before they even pushed him. And number two, even though these guys were young punks and there was alcohol involved, it appears, I could be wrong, but it appears, there's another video, there's an extended video to this, that he, for whatever reason, confronted the kids, for whatever reason. There was some kind of, discord, or he didn't like the noise we were making. I don't know what it was. So that's number two. It's like, he came to them first, so it could be looked at as, oh, you were looking for a fight. You're by yourself. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he was telling him to quiet down. They're there having but then then this mob of teenagers surround him, and they eventually attack him. And I think it's clear-cut self-defense.
I agree with you, but I'm telling you, man, I think he's going to have an uphill battle. It's going to be looked at as like, oh, you went for a fight. At knife in hand before they even laid hands on you.
See. This is why I don't carry my guns, because in this you've got your best hope is to get out of there, and if you defend yourself against deadly attacks on you, and I think a mob of teenagers pushing you down in a river is life threatening, and you defend yourself, they're gonna bury you. You got to try your best hope to survive is to run, not defend yourself. And if you don't make it, well, you tried. And
situational awareness. I mean, look, I'm a gun owner. I carry. I got a constant carry, and I carry with me. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to put myself in a position to where I think all of a sudden I've got a shirt with a big S on it. It's like pulled in front of a gas station at 2:00 at night when I see 5 guys hanging out. I'd probably wait until the next gas station, and I don't care if I got a weapon on me. It's like situational awareness and just being, smart about your surroundings.
Well, on that case, this Apple River case, because you've seen it, you're probably the only person in the audience that has, because it's not getting a lot of publicity. But would you go not guilty? They're charging him with first-degree murder. That's to me, that's not guilty. What would you go in that trial?
I would go not guilty.
Absolutely.
Again, knowing how these defense, or prosecuting attorneys are, they're going to throw whatever they can at it. They'll bomb at it if they could.
Yeah, that's right.
But I feel he's going to go for an uphill battle, and I feel for the guy.
It's possible, though, they did, like with George Zimmerman, they overcharged him. I don't know how that's first-degree murder at all in any light. So they may have sometimes prosecutors who feel a pressure to bring someone to trial overcharge them so that they get an acquittal, but they can still say, well, we brought him to trial. You understand what I mean? That's what happened with Zimmerman. They didn't want to convict him, so they overcharged him with first degree, knowing that would be acquitted, and that may be the case here.
And of all the people that were there, including, there were more than 5,
Yeah.
There was maybe a dozen. Not one person went to this guy's aid.
None. Listen, I'm at the top of the hour, but thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
WSFS 104.3.
Okay. I'll be right back, guys. Be right back. I'm back. Yeah, there's no self-defense anymore. That was really, that video they released yesterday in that case was just so disturbing. I felt bad for the guy. He was up against a mob of punks. We'll be back shortly, guys. 30 seconds.
The air since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I am Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And it is Friday, meaning open phones. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You're not limited to the topics that we bring up. Our number 1-888-465-2631. Open MAGA Mike Friday. All right, let's go back to our open phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, Traverse City. How you doing this morning?
All right. Where are you from?
Traverse City, Michigan.
Oh, okay. Traverse City, Michigan. What's up? I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good, good. Calling on that Apple River case, man.
Yeah.
Watching that from the get-go. When the prosecution did their opening, I was like, holy Moses, this guy's guilty. But as soon as the defense presented their case, he said something very interesting. He's like, there's 4,300 photos in this video.
Mm-hmm.
You can stop it and pause it at any spot and make assumptions like you like. But after I seen the video, that's a total case of self-defense.
Yeah, I just heard of the case for the first time yesterday when the video came out, and and I'll tell you, I do carry a knife, and most days I carry a knife, and I didn't bring my knife today. I left it. I keep my knife with my keys by the front door, and because of this case, I was like, let me leave the knife today, and that he took out the knife after they were. It was frightening, and the knife was like, "Hey, get back!" And he didn't take out rules with knives and guns are different. I don't know what the laws are in Michigan, but he didn't. He took out a knife and to warn them off, and they knocked him down and started beating on him. What's the guy supposed to do? Let himself get killed?
And when he was raising his hand to motion to the group that was back upstream, he's 200 yards away from his group. One of the members in the group lost a phone, so he goes to look for it. He brought a mask and a snorkel because people lose stuff in the river. And then these drunk teenagers drinking Tito's and beer and smoking weed, they start calling him a pedophile. And
yeah.
They are the ones that initiated this, and it just turned into a mob.
I remember once when I was a teenager. It may be surprising for people to know this about me, but when I was a teenager, I was a bit of a smart aleck, myself. And now I've turned that into a profession, if you haven't noticed. But I remember once I was out with some friends of mine, Fort Lauderdale Beach, and there was this one guy in my group who saw these adults and started screaming obscenities. And one of them grabbed him and knocked the tar out of my friend, right? And then they left. And then my friend wanted us to go after them, and we all told him the same thing. See, things have changed. We said, you told him to go F himself. You got what you deserved. You got what you deserved. You got exactly. Yeah, exactly. You learn something. You do that. And
one important part is he's looking for this, and so he's walking, looking at the ground, and the kid's got a cell phone in his hand, and he's kind of holding it up, and they scream something at him. You can't really hear. He's looking for a cell phone, so he's thinking, "Oh, that's the cell phone." So he runs up to him to try and then all hell breaks loose.
Well, and then I don't know if he tripped or if they threw him down into the river. He's on his back in the water, and then they start pounding him in the face and head.
4 times or 3 times. He had quadruple bypass surgery like 2 years prior, so he was in no shape.
Well, this is you've been following it. You've been following it. So what I'm wondering. I was shocked that they're charged. He shouldn't even be on trial for anything. Clear self-defense, but he's being charged with first-degree murder because one of the 5 kids he stabbed died, and as I was saying before the break, have they maybe overcharged him, thinking they're going to get an acquittal? What are the chances of getting a conviction in such a clear case of self-defense?
As the eyewitnesses that are there and they testify, I think. I can feel the pain that the jury's feeling as well because they're trying to avoid a lot of it, because the defense is doing a great job of saying, hey, you guys surrounded this guy and he just made a little short jab here and there. He wasn't lashing out, and anybody that touched him or hit him in an aggressive manner, he moved his arm.
And and I'll tell you, it's as clear a case of self-defense as Kyle Rittenhouse. They were aggressive towards him. He couldn't get away. You know, you're out in a river. You're surrounded by these punks. No, I would be so not guilty.
And I kayak and float the tube off, and you know, he brought the knife to tie the tubes together. So he had the knife from the beginning.
Oh, that's why he had the knife. Yeah.
Man, so you know, and they're just a bunch of 50-somethings having some beers on the river, enjoying an afternoon, and here you got, you know, testosterone.
Well, the one thing he has going for him is that all the kid he killed in self-defense and the other 4 that he stabbed are all white. If they were black or Hispanic, he'd be done. But he's you know.
The one kid, the AJ kid, that got cut from his belt line below his belly button up to like his left nipple. I was like, man, that's extensive. But when you watch the video, the kid is coming in and choking him and pushing him back.
Yeah.
And the guy brings the knife up as he's falling backwards. And the kid basically walks into the knife.
It's sad. It's sad. Okay, it's sad. Okay, but the kids are definitely aggressive. All right, appreciate the call. I'm glad to hear people are following the case. I thought when I brought it up, nobody would have seen it, so we got a couple people that have seen it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
I'd like to bring up something about this DeSantis with the recreational marijuana going to be on the ballot. You know, the federal law says it's against the law. I don't get how these states are doing this. You know, I could have bought into a pot farm in Colorado years ago. I says, man, I'm not going to do that. You buy into the farm, and all of a sudden the feds come in and say, take everybody on and lock you up. You know, so I said, forget it. But yet they keep getting away with this. I don't know. Where's the federal government on?
Well, now, it is open phones today. Okay, so anything and everything on your mind, and this isn't about you, is fair game on Friday's show. That rule stands. But I hate nothing more than getting calls from stoners telling you how great marijuana smoking is. I mean, come on. Come on. It's not great, okay? It's not great. You know, it's very bad news. And just from a health perspective, every negative consequence of smoking cigarettes you have with marijuana, same thing, too. Just from a health perspective.
It's not a good idea, and especially if it's against the federal laws, you know.
Yeah, well, that's a conflict. And one of the things they say, well, it comes from the earth. Everything comes from the earth. You know, I watched SpaceX. I was on the turnpike driving to the radio station this morning, and SpaceX launched a rocket. I watched that rocket. That rocket comes from the earth, okay? Right? Everything comes from the earth. These stoners with their ridiculousness. So I hate to even mention it, but I got really pissed off at DeSantis. Now, maybe I have Trump, the equivalent of Trump derangement syndrome. Maybe I have DeSantis derangement syndrome. But when he came out, he says, oh, these things will fail. He didn't call them out for what they are. The abortion measure and the legalizing recreational marijuana is on the ballot in November here in Florida to try to hurt Trump and hurt the MAGA Republicans. They're trying to turn out liberal voters, Democrat voters. And it's another scheme just like this lawfare that's going on.
Unfortunately, you're correct, and this is a terrible thing that's going on here. And DeSantis is the worst guy we've ever had, unfortunately. Yep. He doesn't want to do anything. He's against MAGA, and he's helpless. You know, I contacted the governor because the water in Coral Springs is wrecking the pipes. I had 3 leaks. I asked if he could do anything about it. No, there's nothing they could do. They wrote me back. Nothing they could do. You got to contact somebody else or get a lawyer or something.
You know, I'm much better at that. When Rick Scott, one of our senators, was the governor, and my internet was knocked. PJ, who calls in, he goes on the cruise. You know, he makes fun of me about this all the time. But when the last hurricane, big one we had here, came, my internet was out, and I called Governor Rick Scott's office. And he got my internet on like that day. I couldn't believe it. And I was in shock. And there was another time, the streets in my development were owned by the county, and they needed to be repaved. And they wouldn't get repaved. And I got a hold of a state senator, and he told me, Well, that you got to call the county commissioner. That's not my business. He was my state senator. He lived a couple developments over. So I said, come. I gave him my address. I said, drive over to my street, okay, and then tell me that's not your business. And the next Monday, I come home from the radio station. Not only are they paving the roads in my development, they started in front of my house. And the foreman came up to me and says, "We're here because of you." I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I told that story at the time when it happened on the air. And so I don't know. I got juice, I guess. I could get things done. And that guy that I called that paved my streets was a Democrat.
Celebrities did?
No, I didn't call up and say, "Oh, I'm this big famous guy." So few. I just called up. I didn't say, "I'm, me. I'll go on the radio." I didn't do any of that. So few people actually pick up the phone and call these people. Like when I called Governor Rick Scott, I didn't call the grievance line. I got his assistant on the phone. You can find all this information online. They get so few calls, local officials, direct personal calls. Forget about letters and emails. They get so few personal calls. When you do call and you get them or someone that's right next to them on the phone, you get stuff done. Because they take that, they're like, wow, they think it's a big deal. You'd be surprised.
I called and I sent an email and then everything else, and then I got the email back saying,
well, if it was my water, it'd be fixed. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Dave, Tennessee. You had mentioned earlier in the show about the red states and blue states, and I think it was maybe in the Clinton election, they very cleverly swapped that. Traditionally for you.
I used to think that, and I sometimes around election time I watch old election night videos from the networks on YouTube. And I saw Carter, Reagan, and Nixon elections, and they were talking about red states and blue states and assigning Republicans red. And this is like in the 70s and 80s. So I don't know where that came from. I've never bothered to look into it, but it's not from the Clinton era. The Clinton era is when people started talking about it more, but the networks in the 70s and 80s still gave us red and then blue.
Yeah, they just...
they should be red.
They just never stop, do they? Never stop.
No. No, they don't. They're Democrats. I mean, listen, think about this. Democrats used to enslave black people. They used to own black people, and they beat them. Right? I mean, these are terrible. Democrats are terrible people. Terrible people. Democrats used to lynch black people. Every black man in America who was lynched was a Republican, and every man who did the lynching of the black man was a Democrat. I mean, these are terrible people. They're Democrats.
Well, I really believe that there's an honest awakening. This Fannie Willis situation, the Puff Daddy Cone situation, et cetera, I think a lot of people are really finding reality in religion, and I'm sure you saw James Carville very concerned.
Yep.
Because obviously realizing the youth, and especially even minority youth, are just absolutely fed up and realizing that Trump is the way for their future.
Well, there's a big move with like the people that have young kids, like elementary school age kids that are like they're like in their 20s. There's a big swing to the right with that group. I'm not exactly sure why, but there is, which is good. It's good, All right, yeah, I'll give you the last word.
Hoping for the best. I know they got a bunch of tricks.
Don't worry, we got it. We got it locked up.
We'll see. Thank you for the show.
All right, take care. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
arm. She's right-handed. She feels better. It's amazing. And for people out there that are dealing with pain, believe me, there is an alternative. Go in there for the free consultation. FREE free. You will lose. The only thing you'll lose is the pain that you're dealing with. Do not suffer. Go in there to see Dr. Appleton, the greatest visit of your life.
Give Dr. Appleton a call right now. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. Open Monday through Saturday. Appointments not necessary. And walk-ins are welcome. 954-973-0710. Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Do you have questions about retirement? Hi, it's Kathy Green, co-host of the Jupiter Joe Money Show. Tune in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. to the Jupiter Joe Money Show, where we answer all kinds of questions about retirement right here on your True Oldies channel.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Ron Brewer, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging. Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bio Station West LA, and hormone replacement bullet therapy. Hormone replacement bullet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy.
I was looking out the window at somebody walked by, seeing who it was.
Join us for Moments of Scripture, hosted by Jan Coleman every Sunday morning from 6 to 6:30 a.m. We will read the Bible, pray.
Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you're new.
Moments of Scripture every Sunday at 6 a.m.
All right.
Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FL.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Open MAGA Mike Friday continues. I got to update our spot from Friendly Tire, the one with me. I was listening to the Friendly Tire spot with my voice on it. I say tires as low as $70 a tire. That's not true. The tires are now as low as $65 a tire. You know, in this era of inflation, I'm in shock. You know, when Friendly Mike told me, I don't know, a week or two ago that tires are as low, these are new tires, by the way, out the door and out on the road, because he doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tire. When he told me tires as low as $65, I asked him again. I was like, what? Yeah. So give him a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. He has all the name brands you know and love, too. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire Margate. New tires as low as $65 a tire, out the door and on the road. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, you're on the air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes, please. Yeah.
From Jersey.
Hey, Jay, what's up?
Oh, I kind of seen your eyes shifting to the right a little while ago.
Well, I'm running a control board here and playing audio sound bites and doing things, so my head has to move around so I can see what buttons to hit.
When you were telling people about eyes shifting to the right, I seen yours.
Okay, let me tell people excuse me. Let me update people that may not know what we're talking about. This one girl who was brutally murdered by this illegal from Venezuela. There's a fake story saying that Trump did not call her family, and they interview her sister. Her sister, who is not at all broken up over the murder of of her sister, is angry at Trump, not the murderer of her sister. And when she says Trump didn't call, her eyes go to the right, which is a body language expert tell that she's lying. So anyway, just so people that weren't listening know what we're talking about. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, there we go. So, you are the expert on knowing who sends the spokesperson out for a family, and to the fact that she had to be crying because you said she had to be crying. But you would think that that girl and her family who sent the daughter out as a spokesperson, because they're probably broken up about their daughter being killed, and she was the one who felt that she could.
How do I got a? Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
The press, and she told the press that Trump did not call their family. They know if an ex-president of the United States, the nut, had called them or not. But you're the expert to say that the family is.
Okay, let's slow down. All right. Okay, now, can I speak now?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if white privilege exists. Why am I asking you if I can speak? Shouldn't you just defer to me? Oh, I'm glad white privilege doesn't exist anymore. I'm so glad. Racial reconciliation. Okay, how do we even know that that's her sister?
Oh, come on. You're that dumb.
No. How do we even know? And I'll tell you, I have a lot of siblings. I have brothers and sisters that I've never met because my dad has had multiple wives and such. And I went to a Trump rally, and I met a sister of mine that I never met before, and we bumped into each other at the Trump rally. Okay, so at least MAGA runs in the family, even though we're got different mamas. But just because someone is a sibling of someone doesn't mean they're in the immediate family and know what's going on when such things happen.
Well, see, that just sounds ridiculous. Why would they go find some strange sister to talk?
Because the media hate Trump, that's why.
Everybody hates Trump except for you.
Everybody hates Trump?
Listen to this. You're going to go broke with all the money that you're giving Trump. You gave him $20,000 for the dumb hat.
No, I didn't. No. First of all, it's a $24,000 autographed MAGA hat, and I didn't pay 10 cents. And I didn't pay 10 cents for it. No, they gave it to me for free.
Oh, they didn't give those hats.
You think I would pay 20? Let me tell you. You think I would pay $20,000 for a hat?
He's out of money.
I didn't pay for it. They gave it to me for free. Everybody else, except Liz Willis from Right Side Broadcasting, paid a minimum of $24,000 for it.
Some crazy dumb jockey comes up and
think about it. If I paid $24,000 for my autographed MAGA hat, how smart would that be? Steve in the radio station might think, we're paying Brian too much. Even if I did something like that, I wouldn't tell people I did it. That's stupid.
We're going because you paid $20,000 for that hat. Come on, you think I'm stupid?
Oh, I didn't tell anyone I was going, except my wife and one or two other people in my immediate family. I didn't even tell Steve. I didn't tell anybody.
Right. The nut was selling.
Why do you think that I did not tell anyone that I got invited to a private cocktail party with President Trump? Why do you think?
Because you didn't want them to know that you were dumb enough to spend $20,000.
I was invited. I didn't spend anything.
Your eyes were shit.
No, I didn't pay 10 cents. I mean, I did have to put gas in my car to drive to Mar-a-Lago, but I didn't pay, and I did buy a new suit and stuff, but I didn't pay. No, I got it. I was invited, and I got the $24,000 autographed MAGA hat for free.
The man is broke. He's not giving away $24,000.
He's broke. He's broke.
Everybody knows it now.
What's your definition of broke? He made $6 billion last week, right? You know that. President Trump made $6 billion last week.
He what?
He made $6 billion last week.
Do you know the stock has plummeted and you lost some...
Really? It's plummeted? It's plummeted? No, I haven't lost money on the stock.
You know that stock has went down and everybody's losing their money.
Really? I've lost money on the stock. How much is the stock at now?
I don't know.
If you don't know, how do you know it's plummeted? And I'll tell you another thing. You don't know what the stock, how much it's going for, and you don't know how much I paid for the stock.
You need to go lost your money.
No, I have not. First off, when it comes to the only stocks, I don't own any stocks other than Trump stock. You hear me talk about that when I talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. The only stocks I own are Trump stocks. Not only have I not lost money, no one has lost money. Excuse me, no one has lost money on Trump stock unless they did one thing. Hold on, let me finish. No one has lost money on Trump stock unless they've done one thing, and what's that?
But how could you not know that the stock went down?
No. You're the financial expert, okay? Explain this to me. No one has lost money on Trump stock unless they've done one thing. What is that?
What is it? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I thought you were a financial expert. So you don't know. Okay. The only people who have lost money on the Trump stock are people who have already sold the stock and sold it for less than they paid for it. Like, for example, if I paid $1 million a share and it's down to $50-something, I haven't lost anything until I sell it for less than I bought it for.
Is selling it because...
Not everybody's selling it. I've got my Trump stock. I'm not selling it, baby. That Trump stock, I'm going to have that forever. I'm going to leave that to my daughter.
That's what I said. Trump is breaking you. $20,000.
I didn't pay for the hat.
Did you buy the Bible?
The Bible is through Lee Greenwood. I tried to buy the sneakers, but they sold out too fast.
Did you get the Bible?
There is no Trump Bible. No, I did not buy the Lee Greenwood Bible.
You say he was selling Bibles.
He didn't say he was selling Bibles. You know, like for example, for example, I'm going to do a commercial. My next commercial is for Dr. Philip Appleton in his laser wave pain treatment. Just because I tell people what he's done for me, ridding me of pain, and go see Dr. Appleton and he'll rid you of pain too, doesn't mean I'm a doctor. It doesn't mean I'm practicing medicine or something. I'm just telling someone, hey, this Bible, this doctor, it can help you like it's helped me. That doesn't mean I am a doctor.
But he said, let's make the world pray again. He's selling...
Is that not a good thing? Is that not a good thing?
Selling sneakers because he's broke.
But to have a Bible, you have to buy... Do you think Bibles fall from heaven?
Notice that everybody, when he had to pay that $465 million...
He didn't have to pay... Have you been in a coma or something? He didn't have to pay $500 million. He got it reduced to $170-something million, and he paid it.
The billionaire couldn't pay the $465.
No, he didn't have to. The judge ruled it was too much and reduced it to $175 million, and he paid it. All right, Jay from Jersey, get updated on the news. By the way, Dr. Appleton can rid you of pain, like he's done with me 5 times. His number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. Appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call, talk to him about his laser wave pain treatment, and say bye-bye to your pain like I just said bye-bye to that idiot I was just talking to. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
He's a little behind on the news. Cerebral constipation. I like that. Yeah, I want to be as broke as President Trump, too. Be on the Forbes richest 500 list. Oh, my goodness. Someone said if you bought it at 79, you're down. First off, I didn't tell anybody what I paid for it because it's no one's business. But no, I haven't lost money. You only lose money when you sell it for less than you paid for it. So no matter what I paid for it, and I didn't buy it for $79, but I'm not going to tell you what I paid for it. He's the CNN viewer. Notice I said that in singular.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you're aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? And take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural...
Not a cloud in the sky. This would be a good day to take out the MAGA scooter. Yeah. All right, welcome one and all. Callers on hold, stand by. Open phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday continues. I was just looking during the break. When I went and voted for President Trump a few weeks ago in the Florida primary, I made a YouTube video of me doing it. And I got confronted by this Democrat poll worker. And if you've not seen that video, you should watch it. It's insane. You know, I went to vote. I made the video. And I'm making this YouTube video because I make YouTube videos of everything I do, right? And it wasn't that eventful. And I was thinking to myself, well, you know what? I may not put this on YouTube. And I'm filming, and I can see behind me. This is all on the video. You should watch this. I can see behind me on the screen as I'm filming. And I see a very large woman walking towards me. And I say, oh, here's the poll worker. She's going to come and tell me I can't be making a YouTube video here. And she confronts me. And you hear the whole exchange on the video. So, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. Check it out. But I just looked. Do you know I've had over 317,000 people have watched me go and vote for Trump on primary day in Florida a couple weeks ago? Over 317,000 people have watched that video. Do you know that more people watched me vote for Trump than watched CNN and MSNBC in prime time? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? That's the new world we're in. It's kind of cool. That's why they're irrelevant now. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Rob from California, Brian.
Hey, Rob. What's up?
I thought of something disturbing. What's going to happen on January 6th?
Trump's. I don't know if it's going to fall on that same day this time around, but President Trump will be certified and will be president. See the problem you're calling me from California?
Yeah.
Okay, you're behind enemy lines. So you're back there in California and you're surrounded by the fruits and nuts of California and it's polluted your brain.
No, I'm a Trumper all the way.
A Trumper?
Occurred to me that maybe they may try some shenanigans.
Well, no, and plus we control the house. Nothing to worry about. All right, take care. Oh my goodness, see what happens. That's what I worry about. My daughter living in Southern California. She comes back all the time, thankfully. But you're out in California long enough. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Terry from Florida.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, what's up? Hey, you know they call Trump the lawless one, right?
Who's they?
Okay, in the Bible talks about the Antichrist, that he's the lawless one.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is the lawless one. He feels like he's above the law.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you called because when we last spoke, it was yesterday, right? Right? The last time you and I spoke was yesterday, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And you were going to do something. Well, you're here now. And you were going to do something. What was that?
What they got to do? That was yesterday. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was so it's yesterday. It doesn't matter. No. You made the statement that a false statement that President Trump told the. Excuse me. You said, let me finish my thought, and then you're going to prove yourself to be correct. You said that Donald Trump told the people to storm the Capitol. Now, I had played the audio clip of President Trump say peacefully, but you said he said storm the Capitol. So you were going to play the audio of President Trump telling people to storm the Capitol. So I'm assuming that's why you're here now. Go ahead, play the audio for the audience to hear of Trump saying storm the Capitol, please.
I don't have anything to play, You
don't have it. I can look it up. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Oh, so now you admit that that there is no audio. There is no audio of him saying that. Nobody has it because it doesn't exist. If that audio existed, it would be on continuous loop on CNN and MSNBC all day.
They would not have stormed the Capitol.
Excuse me. If there was audio of President Trump telling them to storm the Capitol, don't you think CNN and MSNBC would play it from time to time?
Saying hang Pence.
No. We're talking about Trump. You said that there's audio of him telling people to storm the Capitol. I can't find that audio. I've never seen such audio or video. Why do you think that is? The point is you have no credibility and you live in a fantasy world. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning.
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. What do you have for us this morning, Barry?
Well, as a law firm that does estate planning and elder law, our job is to help make people's lives better, give them better futures, and give families better futures, generation after generation. And that's what the estate planning part of it is to pass on our wealth in the most efficient way to make sure that it's protected. But what we also do with the elder law is really, really important because it's helping the person of that generation protect their assets so they don't have financial insecurity during the rest of their lives, so they don't go broke, leave their spouse broke, or drastically change their lifestyle in the ending years of their life. I mean, we want to end our life in a situation where we're not out of money, we're not a financial burden on the family. And the way we could end up running out of money is because of the cost of long-term care. Even if we were well off, even if we had, what we would consider a significant amount of money, the cost of long-term care and the amount of time that people can live needing to spend the money on this long-term care, whether it be a nursing home, assisted living, or home care, can devastate someone's finances. And the thing is, if you don't have long-term care insurance, that leaves you with two options: either spend down and pay it out of your own pocket, or see someone like us, an elder law attorney, and plan to have the government benefits pay for it, or the lion's share of it, so that you don't have to spend down your assets. And the thing is, and this is the big issue, Brian, because anybody who's listening who's not aware of this is going to be thinking automatically, oh, well, this doesn't apply to me. Because the second you hear Medicaid, well,
yep,
I have too much income, I have too much assets, that's not for me. This is for people who are already poor. That's not the case. This is what elder law attorneys do. This is what we do at the Siegel Law Group. We help people with means, people with assets, people with income that are over the Medicaid limits, shelter and protect their assets in a way that Medicaid allows, and let you qualify so that you don't have to spend down your assets and keep your assets. You don't have to worry about leaving your spouse broke. You don't have to worry about not being able to leave an inheritance to your kids. You don't have to worry about running out of money. None of those things, because we can help you protect your asset.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, I've met with many of our listeners who have gone to you for just that, and they're very happy. They're very happy. And you know, if you live in Florida long enough, you'll know someone who they didn't plan, they didn't have long-term care insurance, they didn't go to Attorney Barry Siegel, and they need care, and they get it, but when they pass, the surviving spouse is left with debt and maybe even homeless, right? It's not good. Give the Siegel Law Group a call. It's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel here on the program, and no matter where you are in the state of Florida, they can help you. The number's toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week. All right, we'll be right back. All right, we are back. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're listening to us. You know, the Department of Justice is pushing for prison time of the person they say stole the Ashley Biden diary. And, you know, this story in particular just burns me. And I'll tell you why. I mean, she left the diary behind in the rehab. It was here in Florida. Ashley Biden did with the diary. First off, who writes that crap down? I'm not going to go through everything that's in the diary. It's really bad stuff. Who writes that stuff down? And, you know, it's such an interesting thing about families. You know, while I have siblings, I told you guys, we weren't raised together and we have different mothers. Okay? With my mother, I'm the only child, so I was raised an only child. But when I see people, friends of mine, and I meet their friends that have sisters and brothers, it's amazing to me how many things brothers and sisters have in common when they're raised together. Habits, their speech patterns, things they do, things they like, things they don't like, the way they behave. And Joe Biden's two junkie kids, his son and daughter, they do the same thing. Ashley documents terrible things about the family in a handwritten diary, right? Hunter Biden, he's more techie than her. He documents and records every disgusting thing, including his father Joe paying for his hookers, on his computers. And then they get pissed off at Pops. They get pissed off at Joe Biden for something. And Hunter takes the records on his laptop first off, who gets a computer? You know, I just bought recently a new MacBook. My previous MacBook was like 10 years old. I got a new MacBook. I didn't throw it away, and I didn't take it to a computer repair shop. No one buys new MacBooks. They're too old. There's nothing you can do. He took his laptop from hell to the computer repair shop filled with the darkest, dirtiest, nastiest secrets of him and his dad, and left it with the guy to get even with his father. Because Hunter knows that Joe loves Bo the best, right? Everything's always about Bo, not him, not Ashley. Ashley, like her junkie brother, she's in rehab. She doesn't use the laptop. Maybe they probably don't let her have computers in rehab, but they let her have the diary, and she writes the darkest secrets that you could write about your family in the diary, and she leaves it when she checks out of rehab, when she's clean. And then they say it was stolen. I say she left it behind like Hunter left the laptops. Don't you guys? And this is them. These are two spoiled, entitled, political rich kids that think that the world is theirs to use any way they want. They have no fear of anything, and when Daddy doesn't give them exactly what they want, when they want it, they do things like this. That's it. That's it. So why is someone facing prison time? How can you steal something that was left behind? Right? How can you steal something that was left behind? Have you ever found money lying on the ground somewhere? I have. I found once, did I ever tell you about this, Mike? $300 in a book? Yeah. I was at the public library in Plantation, the one on Broward and Pine Island. And this was years ago. My wife and I, we were at the library, and the book I found it in, I couldn't believe. I was looking through I was looking for some books to read to my daughter, with my daughter. And I was looking in the young adult section and kids section, and I was looking through a book, and there was 3 $100 bills in it. The book, believe it or not, was Treasure Island. Okay? It was Treasure Island. And the book had not been checked out for like a year, because I looked at the back, and not been checked out for a year. I kept the $300. But I was afraid. I thought I was being punked. I thought Ashton Kutcher was going to come out there and say, you've been punked. And those of you that were listening, then I talked about the story on the air. Did I steal that $300? Did I? No. Buddy of mine found a watch on the sidewalk in front of his house. He kept it. Did he steal that watch? No. Okay? Now, if I would have gone up to someone and taken the $300 out of their pocket or their purse or their wallet, I would have stolen the $300. About 10 years ago, I've got these cabinets in my kitchen that are so far up to the ceiling, no one uses them. And I was painting the kitchen. And I'm standing on the countertop painting up by the ceiling, and I open up this cabinet that I never was in before. You know what I found in there? I found gold jewelry. It wasn't mine. It wasn't my wife's. It was someone's that used to own this house, a house that had several owners before me. So what did I do with that? Took it to William Youngerman's and turned it into cash. It was a long time ago. Gold wasn't as high as it is now. But yeah. Did I steal that jewelry? No, someone left it behind. And there was no, that's not theft. Now, if I'd have snatched those god-awful, out-of-date gold necklaces off of a woman's neck, that'd be thievery. So why is somebody being charged and facing prison time for stealing something that Ashley Biden left, the diary? And I'll tell you, she's nasty. Project Veritas, before James O'Keefe left, because they got in trouble with the diary, they released a video of her contacting them for the diary. I couldn't believe how nasty she was. She was threatening the Secret Service on them. Did you guys see that call? I was shocked. She's just like Hunter. I mean, the whole family. They're great people. But it's not. The diary wasn't stolen. So this person should not be facing prison. I'm sorry. Have any of you found anything like, am I just a blessed person finding $300 in gold and stuff? It's not all at the same time, It's over the course of many years apart between these things. But it happens. It happens. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Callers on hold, stand by. It is Friday, meaning it's open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You are not limited to the stories and topics that we bring up, okay? Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. But if you're on hold, hang in there. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3.
I really thought I was being punked with that $300, especially because it was in Treasure Island. Oh, my goodness. She did. What, yes or no? Did she accidentally leave it, or is she acting out like Hunter with the laptops? What would be your guess, guys?
With a real person when you call
What would be your
Flash
guess?
Credit Card with 24/7 live U.S.-based customer service from Discover. Everyone could talk to you anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card. That's traffic. I'm Dory Don.
Acting out, absolutely. I mean, who writes that stuff down that she had in there? I don't do clickbait, and if you notice, most of the time, sometimes my mind will slip, but usually, not every time, because something, something will pop in my head, but most every single time, I will start talking about what's ever in the thumbnail. Like today, swing state turns MAGA red. First segment, I went through the whole thing. Now, sometimes, because, something will pop in my head, and I'll but I'm not into the clickbait. It gets annoying. Even on the podcast, 9 times out of 10 on the podcast, I will make the thumbnail before I do the podcast. And the reason I do that is to do a mental note to start with that. So if the thumbnail is not about what's in the what I lead with, usually that means it's something that popped in my mind or broke during the show. I can do whatever I want. I'm not restricted. But Scott Ritter, why would I want to talk to Scott Ritter all of a sudden? Is something new? With Scott Ritter? There we go. All right, the third hour has begun. Call us on hold. Stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. And, of course, this is Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard, Portland, Oregon.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, the $20,000 hat, that guy.
It's $24,000 hat, autographed by the president. Yeah.
I heard the day that you talked about that, and, that guy wasn't listening. And you had to tell him, I don't know how many times, I quit counting, how many times you told him, I didn't pay 10 cents for it. Well,
yeah.
My work, I have people come in and they back their cars in, and they everybody's in a line and they're throwing their garbage out on the ground. If you back up too far, you're into the glass or you're into the nails. And 9 times out of 10, the guys that back up and don't listen when you tell them to stop, they keep going. And they back over the nails, and then they're standing in the soupy mess back there, and they get their shoes all dirty. Mm. They always have a Biden sticker or Obama, an old one.
Yeah, but you're in Oregon. You're in Oregon.
Yeah. And east of Portland and south of Portland is red, but the rest, the three big cities in Oregon they're just dingbats. I could see them coming 100 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
They start backing up. And then you get the few that pull straight in. Like, maybe their trunk or their hood is their trunk, We don't like that as a Volkswagen. But it's just funny that.
Yeah, I think the back or inner parkers it's a little obnoxious. I don't get that. It's harder to back in than it is to back out. I don't know why people back in all the time when they park. I don't get that.
Right. Well, this is a garbage dump.
Oh, like the rest of the liberal cities. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. It is open phones. Okay? Anything and everything on your mind. Parking styles and techniques, and much more. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, sir. This is Todd up here in Nebraska.
Hey, Nebraska. What's up? Home of Johnny Carson.
Yeah. So, did you see the report of the 2020?
Yes. But I think we should take the advice of Lara Trump. And that's, focusing in on that. I've told this to other callers. Focusing in on that, what impact do you think that has on people?
I'm not really focusing in on it.
No, but think about it. Talking about that and making that an issue, what impact do you think that has? It has a very negative impact. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I understand that.
No. What do you understand? What is the negative impact though that do you think?
Everybody keeps dwelling on that instead of the future.
No. It discourages our turnout this time around. And I'm not saying those things aren't important, but what that does is discourage our turnout. Which I don't want to do. Because President Trump says we got to swamp them. We need to have the largest turnout we can possibly have. And anything that discourages it, I'm not really interested in.
Okay, but so the main part here, the reason I brought that up, will have any impact on court case.
Now, Fulton County's corrupt. I mean, listen, Fannie Willis paid a guy $700,000 to have sex with her. And they had a whole televised court hearing about it, right? And nothing happened to her. The judge presiding over that hearing is a campaign donor to hers. So, it's corrupt.
Well, that was my question.
I mean, if a Republican paid $70 for someone to have sex with them, they'd be out of office forever. Fannie Willis paid $700,000 of taxpayer money for a guy to have sex with her. Think about it. And nothing happened. And she's like, how dare you? I got to get my groove on, just like Stella. All right, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Sandra from Delray.
Hey, Sandra.
Hi. I just want to mention that sometimes you get callers that say, Biden only is going to increase the tax for people that are making $400,000 and more.
Yeah.
This is the fallacy. I've been an accountant for 40 years. Once they put a law on the books, every year that limit goes down, down, and down.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon, the normal middle class is involved, and I've seen it over and over the 40 years.
Yeah.
Also, he wants to propose something which our middle class gets a break on, which is called the stepped-up in basis. When someone passes away, if they purchase their house for $50,000 and it's now worth $200,000, you get the $200,000 as a cost basis. So when your heirs go to sell it, they have very little capital gains.
Yeah.
But he wants the last return of the person who passes to claim that loss, that gain rather.
Mm-hmm.
The last return will have the cost of $40,000 and the fair market value, and you'd have to claim that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so he wants to get rid of that, and that will impact the middle class big time.
Oh, yeah.
Not only is your house stepped up in basis, your stocks are stepped up in basis. So, and the reason why the government gave us that to begin with, there's another tax. It's called an estate tax. And currently it's 13 point something as an exemption.
Mm-hmm. Million. For married couples, right? Singles, 13.5 million. That's the Trump tax code, yeah.
But when it was first instituted, it was $600,000.
And with a home, you could quickly be worth $600,000.
Right, because that's why they gave you the stepped up in basis. They wanted you to be included in that estate tax.
You know, see, the thing is with the Democrats, there's two things. The reason they want to raise taxes are two main reasons. One, they want to destroy the middle class because they view the middle class as stopping them from having total control. Okay? The other thing is Joe Biden and these Democrats, they make their money through crooked dealings. They didn't work for it or earn it, and they've had windfall cash money come to them through their corruption. They don't understand the value of money because they didn't earn it. They're thieves, and they just don't understand it, and they don't understand the impact that it has on people that have worked hard to put something together as opposed to taking bribes.
Right, and also I also think they want to drain the middle class dry so they could use it for all their pet projects.
Oh, yeah.
They want to take as much money as they can from the working class so they could...
And I got news for you. The uber rich like Pelosi and John Kerry and the Bidens, they really don't pay taxes. They've got all kinds of creative ways to avoid paying taxes. So, you know, when they say, well, you know, people that are millionaires have so many, and nothing wrong with that. I think there should be, we really don't need tax. We didn't have income taxes until the First World War, okay? You know, and we don't have a state income tax in Florida. So, you know, God bless them. But when they say we're going to raise taxes on millionaires and all that stuff, that's all BS. They got so many people like you to make sure they don't pay those taxes. It's, you know, and they got so many deductions and exemptions.
In my career, I also worked as a consultant. I had my own firm, but it was a small firm. I also worked as a consultant for many big firms. And that's a fallacy. These people that are millionaires pay a lot of taxes. They really do.
Yeah, they do. In a dollar amount, they pay a lot. Yeah, but what I'm talking about is, you know, overall, their tax. That's why you hear this, and it's so stupid when they say, well, you know, they'll name some rich guy who pays a lower tax rate than his secretary because they have deductions and stuff like that. Nothing's wrong with that. Yeah, of course they pay. You know, people like Trump, they pay millions of dollars in taxes. But you know, to a middle class person, if they, you know, I'll tell you, I used to be, when I was younger, liberal, and until the first year, I did my taxes and I owed money. I owed $3,350, and I thought something was wrong. I redid my taxes, you know, and I remember that first year that I owed money, and it was a shock to me. It was a shock because it's not supposed to be this way. Now, I was very young, but, you know, they want to destroy the middle class. The middle class...
And use it for their benefit.
That's right.
Stupid projects they have.
The illegals. The Ukraine money they're stealing, yeah.
I think these high, you know, like Nancy Pelosi, they get they know about things before. They get inside information.
Well, no, what they do is they say, oh, look, there's this company that makes coffee cups, and it's only 10 cents a share. Let's buy a whole bunch of it, and then let's pass a law that the federal government's going to buy all our coffee cups from that company. Then it's exactly, it's crooked.
Oh, a bridge is going up there. Oh, let's buy something nearby because there's going to be a lot of traffic.
You know, when this, Obama, if you remember, just give an example of what you're talking about. Remember Obama went to Europe when he first became president to try to get them to have the Olympics in Chicago, and it failed. I want to say, it might have been Valerie Jarrett, it may not have been, one of the ladies that's a top person to Obama had bought a bunch of slum neighborhood property in Chicago before this happened. And they did that because they thought that was going to be the Olympic Village and it was going to be worth money. Now that failed, but that's why Nancy Pelosi's his stock portfolio outperforms the top hedge funds on Wall Street because of that. Yeah.
They might pay taxes, but they have that advantage. And I remember years ago they tried to pass a real, good senator or a congressman tried to pass a law where they couldn't have inside trading, and of course it failed.
Well, how do you do that? They just have their son-in-law do the buying then. All right, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Great call. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Potteville. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-5642. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Exactly, Freedom Soup.
Techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed.
40 minutes till the weekend, guys.
Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor.
Weekend starts at 9 a.m.
But these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard, on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Gravelwood by the Paul Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. Don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
I'm not excited about the eclipse.
95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, anywhere in the...
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Open phone Friday, open MAGA mic Friday continues. You know, everyone's all excited about this eclipse on Monday. I'm not. Anytime I think of see a story about an eclipse, I think of Night of the Comet. You guys remember Night of the Comet? You know, remember what happened? It didn't. I know that was a comet, not an eclipse, but it didn't work out too well for them. But I don't know how much of it we're going to see here in Florida. I don't think we're going to get the full effect in Florida, are we? I don't know. I'm not excited about it at all, really. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Vicki from South Carolina.
Hey, Vicki, what's up?
Okay, you've had a lot of different subjects today, but when you were giving your experience about calling your local officials for in your neighborhood and you got it fixed, this is what we all have to do. If we see something we don't like, we need to voice our opinion from the bottom all the way up. Because if we don't like who's been elected, they need to know.
When you get these people on, I'll tell you, you know, when the internet was out at my house after the hurricane, when I got the governor, and this was Governor Rick Scott, who's our senator now, one of our senators. He was a great governor, and he was the governor before DeSantis. I didn't call up and say, hey, my name is Brian Craig. I'm a very well-known. I just called up as Brian, and when I got his personal assistant on the phone, I just didn't say my internet's out. Can the governor fix it? I said, you know, there's a lot of businesses here, and they can't do the credit card transactions at the gas stations and stuff. People can't buy gas because there's no internet here because the pumps weren't working. And that's, you know, you got to know how to talk to these people, and they got it done. So few people directly call their elected officials. You'd be surprised. I shouldn't even tell people this because I'm giving a big secret out. It is so effective. It is so... if you can get them or their number two on the phone.
Yeah, and we have to speak up for what we want corrected or what they can do to help us. And
oh, yeah.
Activists like canvassing or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
We need to be activated as people, you know, trying to make the society better.
Absolutely. Yeah, which is the opposite of what Democrats want. They don't want the society to be better. They want it to be in chaos and constantly promise you a solution to your troubles that they never deliver on. So you'll vote for them.
But, you know, when you're trying to, you know, talk with one party to the other, you need to include them all.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Great calls today, too. All right. Now, Kirby, he's just a weird dude. He said something yesterday. Did you catch this about China and Taiwan? Now, we have liberals listening, so sometimes I got to get out the fat pencils and the crayons and everything else. I'll just explain this, and I'll play this thing with Kirby. Taiwan doesn't call themselves Taiwan. Taiwan is, like, say, for example, this communist takeover of America were complete, which they're trying now. And those of us who support the United States being a free country, we go to, we take over the Bahamas, and then they call it the Bahamas. But to us, it's the United States. It's like free America, right? Or maybe if we kept Hawaii. Okay, well, make it better. We keep Hawaii, that's the United States. Taiwan, when the commies took over, the free people went to Taiwan, and they called Taiwan. That's why sometimes you hear mainland China. There's mainland China is the big China, and then there's Taiwan, which is China, okay? And the U.S. policy has always been to support Taiwan because Taiwan is free. That's free China, right? Free, as opposed to the CCP. But China now has taken over, they're trying to take over the world, in a way that's never been done before. They just go around and start buying off politicians in different countries. And it's pretty effective. It's more powerful than Panzer tanks were in the Second World War. So China owns Joe Biden and many top leaders in this country. And Kirby at the White House press conference yesterday was talking about a conversation that Biden had with China and Taiwan. Listen.
We told President Biden during their summit in San Francisco that Beijing plans to reunify Taiwan with mainland China. Did the Chinese leader bring up similar sentiment in their call the other day? And if so, what was President Biden's response?
I would certainly Taiwan came up in the context of the call. There's not a single discussion that we don't have with senior leaders in the PRC where we don't talk about Taiwan. Of course, it came up. I won't characterize President Xi's comments, but I can tell you that President Biden was very, very clear that nothing's changed about our one China policy. We don't support independence for Taiwan, but we also don't want to see the status quo changed in a unilateral way, and certainly not by force.
Okay. So did he misspeak, or did he say out loud what they talk about in private? So does the United States no longer support Taiwan being independent? We want the CCP to take it over? What's going on here? Now, we got that great call from the retired accountant earlier, right, in the earlier segment, and she knows all kinds of stuff about everything. And, that's where Jupiter Joe Thomas comes in. I own one stock, Trump stock. I don't own any other stocks. I don't like stocks because they go up and they go down. You can lose all your money. I'm not into gambling. We go on our cruises. I don't even go in the casinos. I don't gamble. I just don't. And to me, the stock market's gambling, right? But an annuity, your money is safe. The rich and successful people that inherit all this money, their principal, they never risk or invest. They keep their principal. The rich, the uber rich, like the Kennedys, they keep their principal. They don't risk that principal. And your principal is your annuity. And not only is your money safe, when you're retired, you've got guaranteed income, which can make that retirement just a little bit better, huh? Absolutely. And Joe Thomas is offering free phone consultations. All you got to do when you call is mention you heard me talking about him. And, no matter where you're located in America, you can take advantage of these no-charge phone consultations. I was talking to Joe Thomas the other day. He gave me a call about something or other, and was telling me about all these people in this audience from all over America that are taking advantage of these no-charge consultations, and you should too. If you're retired already, give them a call. If you plan on retiring at any point in your life, I know I do at one point, give him a call. His number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, just go to his website, JupiterJoe.com. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
To answer your question, the critical thing is explaining the influence continuum from ethical to unethical influence, and that ethical influence is informed consent, respecting conscience, and mind control, authoritarian cultism creates this dissociative disorder where people are dependent and obedient. They become clones of the cult member. The critical thing with MAGA people is I recommend people talk about Chinese communist brainwashing and these methods, and pimps and traffickers, because they all use behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control to create this new pseudo-identity.
Indeed, we did talk about the NATO summit and Ukraine, and we'll talk about it in much greater detail in the coming days in Brussels during the
NATO Foreign Ministers meeting. As the Allies stated in Vilnius, Ukraine will be member of NATO.
Oh my goodness.
Lost their.
I got to get to my sound bites. I got up early in the morning. Miles, thank you so much. Good morning to Miles. Miles Moore. We'll be back in about a minute. All right, callers on hold, stand by. Open MAGA Mike Friday continues. Remember, Friday's show, unlike the other 4 days of the week, you can call in about any and everything on your mind. So we'll get right back to that in a moment. But I have some audio clips I want to play. I want to play one now. Don Jr., who I so much would love to be the governor of Florida after DeSanctimonious' second term is up here. He lives here. He fishes in Lake Okeechobee. He fishes off the beaches in the oceans. He's a Floridian now, Don Jr. But anyway, Don Jr. Retweeted this press conference with Blinken. And you hear a translator speaking. I think this might have been on French TV because I see a French flag next to him. So it's Blinken talking, but you hear a translator translating it for some reason. But listen to this. He's talking about NATO, Blinken.
Yes, indeed. We did talk about the NATO summit and Ukraine, and we'll talk about it in much greater.
Is Blinken speaking French? You know, Castro spoke fluent English, but you never heard him speak it because it didn't look good for the revolution. So Blinken is speaking French, and they got an English guy When you're the Secretary of State of the United States, you speak English and let them translate it in French. I think this is just showing off by Blinken. But anyway, listen.
Yes, indeed. We did talk about the NATO summit and Ukraine, and we'll talk about it in much greater detail in the coming days in Brussels during the NATO foreign ministers meeting. As the Allies stated in Vilnius, Ukraine will be member of NATO.
Oh, I don't know why he's speaking French. I mean, I don't know. Remember that CIA director we had? Brennan's Muslim, spoke fluent Arabic. Did you guys know that? Brennan's Muslim and he speaks Arabic? Yeah. He just said, Blinken, through a translator, that Ukraine will become a member of NATO. That's the whole reason that Putin invaded Ukraine, is because they were going to put him in NATO. Getting Ukraine into NATO will cause the Third World War. That will be the moment that will cause them to attack these other countries. That is stupid. The purpose of NATO was to stop Russian aggression. It was Soviet back then, but the purpose of NATO was to stop the Third World War from happening, not start it. And if NATO brings Ukraine in as a member of NATO, that means we will have started on purpose the Third World War. It's insanity. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, how are you? You know, Brian, it's really hard to believe that a guy like Kirby was an admiral in the Navy. It's hard to believe that Blinken is actually our Secretary of State.
Do you know what rank he was? What admiral he was? Was he a rear admiral? A vice admiral? Probably a rear admiral. Yeah, anyway.
Is this the way they announced now they're changing policy to a country like Taiwan, where the spokesman for the Pentagon is going to just leak it out during a press conference?
I don't know what the hell that was.
I mean, was that a slip, or I don't know. But I've seen him get confused up there. Who's the guy, the tall kid? His father works for Fox.
Ducey.
I've seen him kind of get to Kirby a couple of times with the questioning in that.
Kirby's weird.
He is weird. He doesn't see the focus sometimes, but the main thing I wanted to ask you, is this window now that we have between Trump coming back to power, is this when China makes the move on Taiwan?
I don't know, but I mean, here they're bringing Ukraine into NATO and giving China Taiwan. What the heck? I mean, it's crazy.
The new policy for Biden to get win the election because he's a wartime.
Giving China, I mean, I don't really have a comparison to that, but giving China Taiwan would be like giving North Korea South Korea. Right? You've got two Koreas, one's free and one's communist. Taiwan and China, one's free, one's communist. It's a similar thing. It's very bizarre.
Well, did we just give the green light to China to go ahead and...
I guess.
Unbelievable. Well, we just sell out our allies publicly in a press conference by someone who's just a spokesman. It's insane. This whole administration is insane. There's not one person to look to there who is, you consider someone who is really...
And I'll tell you, these clips of things are so bizarre. I think, is that deep fake? Is that real? You know, like this thing with Blinken, but it came from Don Jr. You know, I get them from credible sources. It's hard to believe, but it's true.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, there's not one person in this administration who's impressive from the top down. Nobody. Federal Reserve, anywhere. Secretary of Energy, Secretary of Transportation, Vice President. Nobody in this administration is someone to look forward to. But to say something like that, if I'm in Taiwan, I'm calling up the West. So what was that you guys are talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really, it's disgraceful.
It is. All right, take care. Brian in Deerfield. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Doris.
Hey, Doris.
Hi. I just wanted to comment that this is all very confusing to the newcomers. I feel sorry for them.
Oh, the newcomers. You lost. I thought you meant new listeners to the program. Do you mean the illegals?
The illegals, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like people that are new to the show, but you're talking about the illegals. I forgot their new name, the newcomers.
Oh, it's not hard to figure out this show. It's the best.
Mm.
Anyway, I just wanted to comment. That woman called in a little while ago. Years ago, I felt the way she did. I used to really open my mouth and make signs and march and do this, do that. And one day I went to the school board meeting, and I took with me a pinup of a witch. It was the head, the big hat, and it was on my daughter's refrigerator. Her second grader had made it in school. And so you get 3 minutes to talk at the school board. So I went up on the stage and I showed everyone this. I said, we don't get anything like this at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Put on our, but we get the witch.
Mm.
And the next day in the newspaper, they had a photo of me, and it said, Margate grandmother wants to do away with Halloween.
Mm.
So that was my lesson in public relations.
Yeah, well, it didn't turn out good but you got in the newspaper, you got in the news.
It didn't change anything.
No. The only thing that can affect the school board is if you pay them off, give them money.
Yeah, enough people come down that they know that the vote is going to go against them.
Mm-hmm.
But also, for weeks now, I've been wanting to call in and tell people when I hear somebody be a little unhappy, I'll say, hey, if you want to be happy on Sunday, sit down and with your TV clicker and put on some good preaching.
Yes.
When they get done preaching, you'll feel wonderful. And I haven't called in because I know this is not a religious show, but we better get praying more for Trump.
Absolutely.
But I want to say that this Sunday, as a Catholic, it's Mercy Sunday, and it's a beautiful service at 12 o'clock on Trinity Broadcasting, which is the Catholic network.
I appreciate. I gotta run, Doris. But thanks, Trinity Network and the Mercy. It's at noon. The Mercy Mass. Okay. Bye. Take care. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the final gold and precious metals report for the week. William Youngerman, how the metals ending the week?
Well, they're not quite over with yet, but they seem to be ending pretty much near the highs. Yesterday we had a little bit of a pullback on gold, trading in a range of $22.79 all the way up to $2,306 before closing out the day down $9 at $2,290.70 the ounce. That was on the worst Dow closing in over a year, down 530 points on the Dow Jones. Silver closed down 26 cents at $26.85 after hitting a high of $27.33. Platinum was down $6 at $930, and palladium gained $4 at $1,004. This morning, overnight, we've seen gold trading in a range of $22.76 up to $22.97. Right now, we're down $4.70 at $22.80. Oh wait, we're down $1.80. I'm sorry, we're down $1.80 at $2,288.90 the ounce. Silver, $26.60 right now, down 25 cents. Platinum at $9.17, down $13. And palladium at $9.83, down $21. So the metals are doing very well. Gold on all these dips that we see, intraday dips seem to get bought up very quickly, and then we go right up towards the highs again. So see a dip, take advantage of it. If you're a regular Steve Kane listener and one of our customers, call us up, lock in a price if you see the dip, and take advantage of it. But at these levels, I don't think you can get hurt.
Absolutely not. Now, people that have things that are made of the metals, like old jewelry and stuff, this is probably a time where people should really they could turn that old, ugly, out of date, broken jewelry into either cash or an ounce of gold or a few ounces of gold. How does that work when people come in with things made of the metals?
Yeah, we buy it, we weigh it and process it, buy it right on the spot, give them the cash. And at these levels right now, it's a great time to turn in unwanted jewelry, things that you're not using. And even a lot of people have been selling their sterling silver sets, taking advantage of that, getting rid of the bulk and polishing it and bringing it into for cash or transferring it into some kind of a tradable gold or silver bar or coin.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good deal. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. If you have any questions or want to lock in a price, give him a call. 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop right in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or just go to the website if you missed the address or phone number, and you can get them both there, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday.
Okay, have a great day.
Mm-hmm. Back after this. All right, we are back. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to play this clip of Jean-Pierre yesterday.
Individuals tragically lost their lives when the Francis Scott King Bridge collapsed last week.
Did you hear that? The Francis Scott King Bridge. I don't think Jean-Pierre knows who Francis Scott Key was. I know she knows King and Martin Luther King. I don't think she has any idea who Francis Scott Key was and his importance. None. Because she's an immigrant who has not been Americanized. That's right. But that's not important. The fact that she's female, black, and gay, got the check marks, she doesn't need to know about America. She's got all those check boxes marked. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Steve from Chicago.
Hey, Chicago. What's up?
Hi. I just want to tell you that river situation with the fighting or whatever, that you're talking about, he didn't start anything. He just like said, hey, don't do this, don't do that. There's no law against that.
What are you talking about? You talking about the Are you talking about the Apple River guy?
The first punch.
Yeah.
Is guilty, and when I was listening to it, I'm sorry, I haven't seen it, but from hearing from what you said and the caller said about it, I'm like, yeah, this looks like just like when I used to live in New York. Everybody curses at each other in New York back then.
No, he was attacked. This guy was attacked by these teenage delinquent punks, and he defended his life, and he's on trial for murder.
Like Rambo says in First Blood, they drew First Blood. Like, in other words, they punched him, you know what I mean? They smacked him, they started to fight.
That's right. Do you know in First Blood, do you know Sylvester Stallone didn't kill a single person in the whole movie? Go back and watch it. He didn't. Now, the second movie, he killed a whole bunch of people. All right, thanks for the call. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Now, the second movie, he killed a whole bunch of people.
Yes, that's me. That's me, yes. That guy sounds good on the radio. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, boy, here we go. All right, you're on the air. I try to be kind. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'll be done.
Ugh. All right.
Anyway.
You're in Palm Beach Gardens? What are you doing in Palm Beach Gardens? Oh, my goodness. You're in the... it's just a coincidence that in all of South Florida, you live down the street from the radio station. You are not invited to come here, by the way. You are not invited to come here. I just want to make sure that you know that you're not welcome in the building or the property of the radio station, Al. Okay?
I've invited me to 3 different stations already, so I don't care. If you don't invite me, you don't invite me. I don't care.
No, it's not that you're not invited. You are not welcome to be at the radio station. You are not welcome here, Liberal Al.
I was going to offer you some Brooklyn bagel.
See, this is the guy who goes around and gets free food and then calls us and tries to do spots for him. You just got to be clear, okay? You are not welcome here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, JJ.
Hey, I was thinking about John Pierre, and I think what it is, Brian, is that she's got the MAGA king kind of in her brain. I think
The great MAGA king, yes.
MAGA king. I think she's really worried about what's going to happen here in a few months. But I was also what I wanted to talk about just briefly was the your hat, Jersey J. The hat. I remember you telling that story about how you got the hat. Hungry hippo. I imagine you grabbed it and it was like you were like running. The way you told the story, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was true. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good story, and I mean, who wouldn't want to be in your shoes that day? And then you talked about the hat and how you put it in the safety deposit box.
That's correct.
And I was thinking about
because I did something stupid. I told everybody I have a $24,000 hat, and I said, you know what? That's not a smart thing to tell everybody. So that's why I put it in the safe deposit box.
Yeah, when you're sitting at I remember you talking about sitting at the stoplight somewhere, and some guys walking up on you. I'm like, yeah, don't be wearing that hat. So at any rate, but you got it in a safe place. And what I got thinking about, of course, now I thought about this a while back, probably about a year and a half ago. Some people asked me some questions about DWAC, the SPAC company where DJT came from. And I said, listen, this stock is going to trade. It's going to be like a hot IPO. It's going to be like a fan. Trump's 74 million people voted for him. If each one of those people buy one share of stock, I mean, that's a big chunk. It's going to take a lot off the. So to me, the money or the stock that you bought, there are a lot of people that have never owned stock that I believe, just like they have a MAGA hat or they have the merchandise or the golden sneakers, I can see people buying a share or two or buying whatever and just putting it, I'm thinking about buying some of the shares and just getting the certs, putting them in frames.
Yeah.
Give people for Christmas. I mean,
that's a great idea.
Trade like a traditional. It's not going to trade like a. You don't have to have a degree in economics from Harvard. This stock is all about American first, and quite frankly, I mean,
it's what it. You know what it's really like. It's owning a. This is you're owning a piece of Trump, and I want you guys to think about the historical significance of the DJT. It's a NASDAQ stock, okay? What president of the United States has had an IPO on the stock exchange? None. It's history.
Yeah, it's sort of like, if you want to, I mean, you're buying the stock, it's patriotic in a way, but it's almost like you can donate as much, you can only donate so much money in a political contribution.
Yeah.
But you can buy as much of that stock as you want.
Exactly. And I'm going to buy more of it. And, and this thing about why I didn't tell anyone that I was going to Mar-a-Lago, not even here at the radio station. Why do you think I didn't? Yeah, because jerks like Jay from Jersey would be calling Mar-a-Lago. And you know what I mean? So, why am I going to tell them in advance? If I would have said, if I would have came here the morning after and said, I got an invite to be at Mar-a-Lago at a private cocktail party with President Trump in 3 weeks. Come on. What would have happened?
As the radio station, I mean, you're at a level. You're starting to get to that level. Maybe you were in the past. But from what I've seen over the past 4 years or so of watching you and listening to you, is that, I mean, there seems, I mean, I referred to you when I first started watching you as a force multiplier. I mean, you can put people in assets and liabilities when it comes to, like, say, political campaigns or business or anything like that. And when I started listening to this program, I listened for about 3 months before I first called in, and I just, it took, I was like, okay, you guys are definite, your assets. You are big supporters of Trump, but your assets for America first.
That's right.
Leader Donald Trump, and God bless you, bro.
I appreciate the call. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Steve in Martin County, Never Trumper Steve. I wanted to respond to your the tape that you played at the end of yesterday.
Oh, let me call. I'm going to pull it up, but you're such a perfect seminar caller because if you notice, you always call at the end to run out the clock, but that's okay. Yeah, I want to.
It's not the end.
You are on the air with 4 minutes and 20 seconds of the program left. Okay. So, well, let me, well, before you run out the clock, I want to talk about what you said. You were talking about Trump telling people to storm the Capitol, which is not true. And I said he said peacefully. So I want to play the audio for context.
To the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Peacefully and patriotically. That's it.
I'm going to verbally say, but I'm glad you played it. What you just played was a few seconds in a nearly 11,000-word speech.
Oh.
Let me just finish my comment.
Oh.
Right? It was
No. You're running out of time.
Suggestion of nonviolence. He used the word fight or fighting 20 times.
You ever been to a pep rally? Did you ever go to excuse me, when you were in excuse me, when you were in high school, does this mic work? Does this mic work? Can you call management? I don't think the mic works. When you were in high school, did you ever go to a pep rally?
I haven't, but I can imagine.
You've never been to a pep rally? What did you do in high school?
Continue with the.
What did you do? Did you go to one of those elite boarding schools or something?
By the way, why did the
Excuse me, this is interesting. This is interesting. You never went to a pep rally in high school. I don't know, how's that? Did you go to an elite school? Did you go to an elite school or something?
I did not, a public school.
And they didn't have pep rallies?
They may have had them, I just didn't go to them.
Oh, okay. Well, in pep rallies, and this isn't unique with pep rallies, there's a lot of talk about the school fight song and all this stuff. We're not really going to go out there and beat up and attack the other team or the students from the other school. You know the context. You're not stupid. You're an intellectual snob, okay? So you know the context. So that clip means nothing because I didn't play the entire speech. So I got to play his entire speech every time? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Own time.
I watched it live on television, okay? And by the way, I watched it again when I got that audio, okay? And I've seen it several times since. So your response to that is, okay, he said peacefully there, but you got to play the whole 11,000 words and get it in context? How stupid you are.
The cleaners had to clean up the filth, the urinal over the walls, and defecation. That's what they had to do with the thugs that...
Oh, I think you're talking about the Obama inauguration when they left all the garbage behind. Thanks for your call. But that's... I just want to say that is a tactic of the seminar caller, is to call at the end of the program so you don't have time to respond, and they do it at the very end. That's a professional seminar caller, which is a great sign of our success that the DNC has us on the seminar caller list. I thank you for that. It gives us credibility. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Ricky from North Carolina.
Hey, Ricky, you're the last call of the week, so I hope it's good. We're almost out of time.
Well, I just need a little advice, if you don't mind. I'm trying to get my wife to vote for Trump. She voted last time, but she don't think her vote counts.
She doesn't think her vote counts? Yeah. Why?
I'm not her, so I don't really know.
You don't know what you're making this whole thing up. You don't know what your wife thinks? I'll tell you what. On Monday, I'm out of time for today, but I'll tell you what. This is my response because I don't have time to get into it. There's 10 seconds left. Have your wife call me on Monday, and I'll set her straight. Have your wife call me. What? Why? What's her name? Jesse. Well, have Jesse call me on Monday. See you then. Take care.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Maryland.
All right, guys, I got to run. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Everyone who's already subbed, like the video, all right? I will see you over the weekend, I'm sure.